Hi, I'm John Lincoln, Director of the Reach Performing Arts Center. Normally, we'd be getting together now for our annual celebration, where we celebrate student work and raise money for the theater and for our programming. But with the pandemic, things are a little different now. At that celebration, we would induct students into the International Thespian Society, which is an international honor society for theater students. Those students would be students that just completed their junior year, and they would get up and give a speech about their experience at the Reach Performing Arts Center and with the theater arts. Because things are a little different, we're going to do things a little different. So I'm conducting interviews with each of those students about to become a senior, and we hope you enjoy. Welcome, everybody. I am here once again at the Reach. I'm talking today to McHenna Martin. She'll be inducted into the International Thespian Society once we can get people together to have a ceremony. But in the meantime, we're doing these interviews to just talk about how we got where we are and our journey through theater. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to start. My first question to everybody is, what's your favorite show that you've worked on?
Definitely Attached. Just the way that the audience reacted, like especially in the show we did for a festival,
Mhm.
you could tell every audience member was on the edge of their seat. And I remember as soon as the blue light went off, and it was just time to get the set out or whatever, we all just sat there and hugged each other and cried. It was the most amazing feeling ever.
What's really cool is almost everyone I've talked to has mentioned that specific moment of right after you finish the show. Because at festival, of course, we finish the show and then we leave, and then they tell us we can come back and take our set off. And so there's that time between you guys have heard the audience reaction, but you're all just standing outside the stage door. And it was, yeah, I mean, for everybody, I feel like that's the moment that everybody comes back to, is that sort of coming together of like, we did it.
That moment was just magical. It was crazy.
Do you have a favorite role you've worked on that's other than from that show?
I have to say, Heather was probably the most fun I've had playing a role. But I think the most interesting one I've ever done is, I'd have to say the first role I ever had, which was the advisor to a queen in the bedtime stories.
Yeah.
It was in 7th grade, and it was just so fun to be this like goofy character with a wig and a priest outfit or whatever. It was this weird like long robe dress looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so fun.
So that was you. Was that Katie Gell? You?
I remember for the school performance, I think Katie was sick with the flu or something, and you ended up playing the queen.
Yeah.
And I had to like roll you around in a chair.
Yeah, the costume didn't fit me, so I had to find another costume. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, that happens sometimes. It happened to me. For some reason, it's always the middle school shows where, because often I think we have like 40 people in those shows, that I feel like inevitably something happens the week before the show and I end up playing a part. It happened in Midsummer Night's Dream. It happened in that, and it's happened before too. Do you have a favorite memory from a show that you worked on?
I have to say, one of my other favorite moments is during the beginning of Medea, when those drums are beating and you just see these tiny little child creatures with masks on. One of those was me. Just like the beat of the drums really made it something different than what most people do.
There's some really great images from that show that I was looking at as I've been doing these interviews, and I just forgot how dirty and like visceral that whole show was. There's a really great picture of Drew carrying you after being killed, and you're still in the mask.
That was really scary, honestly. Just having to like go limp in somebody's arms and have like trust them enough to not drop you on the ground.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too that we talk all the time about, the size of role mattering or not mattering. Those kids don't say anything other than I think mommy, mommy at one point, right? But the moment when you come out dead is like one of the moments in that show that's just like, oh, having had you run around the stage, and you had another part too, but in that part, it was literally just, I think you guys came out once at the beginning, and then did you come
Once
out
in the middle.
once in the middle, and then you come out dead,
Yeah.
basically get carried out dead. And I remember the audience just having that sort of they connected more to you guys because they had seen you.
I could just hear the audience like gasping after Emma and I screamed, kind of indicating that children had died.
Yeah, that was another fun show to work on. That was another show where everyone just kind of like pitched in. You've done a lot of work painting.
Oh yeah,
and
those marble columns I stayed
Yep.
many Fridays working on.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that.
I pride and joy.
Yeah, that in the benches in the bookstore, where you've generally found a project to tackle backstage, in addition to what you're doing on stage, in a way that's not just like, we have some people that are willing but really need a lot of instruction, but you're someone that can really take up a project that needs to be done really, really well and really nail it, and so I've really appreciated all of the efforts you put in beyond what you've done on stage too.
Yeah, sure. Painting's fun.
You had the opportunity to go with us to New York, but was there a memory from the New York trip that you kind of hold on to?
One memory that I have is that when I first got there on the bus and like stepped out into the street and just looked at all the people and all of the huge buildings that house as many people as there are in my small island, just in like 3 floors of one block. It's crazy how many people there are there. And I remember also going into Times Square and just looking at the huge advertisements and all of the stores and the people and the naked cowboys, and it was really weird for me because I've never been one for cities, and I'm used to trees and trees and trees and not buildings as far as you can see. Crazy.
It's a totally different world.
Yeah.
If there was someone who's interested in doing theater or joining what we do here at The Reach, what would your advice be to them, or what would you say to them?
Do it. There's no reason not to. I mean, sure, walking out on stage can be scary, but it's just so rewarding and so fun. If you don't like it, then you can just leave. I mean, nobody's gonna hate you for it.
That's right. I like that. If you don't like it, you can just go, don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. This comes from inside the actor studio. I don't ask all of them, but a bunch of these, I think, give like some insight into who you are a little bit. So first is, what is your favorite word?
Ooh, crisp.
Crisp?
Crisp. I love that word. I don't know why. Whenever I read it in like books, I'm like, yes, I love that word.
What is your least favorite word?
Juicy.
Juicy?
Juicy. I hate that word. I don't know why. I've never been able to figure it out.
For a lot of people, it's moist more than juicy.
Yeah, that word.
It's a similar thought.
That word doesn't bother me, but juicy is just like, ugh.
Oh. When it comes to performing arts, what interests you or excites you?
The prospect of being somebody other than who you actually are.
That's a good answer. And when it comes to the performing arts, what does not interest you or excite you?
The drama that sometimes comes with it.
Sure. What noise or sound do you love?
I like static. It's kind of boring, but like I like the sound of like my AC going. I don't like silence.
Do you put on white noise at night?
No, because I have an air conditioner, so it does that for me.
I have 2 kids that have to have white noise. Like if we're traveling, we have to bring a white noise machine.
Oh man.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Besides the nails on the chalkboard, maybe the sound of my dog barking. He has a pretty ear-piercing bark.
And always at the worst time.
Oh yeah, always.
So this is the last one. If you could have any profession in the world with no limits, what would you want to do?
Genetic engineer.
Cool. Is that something you're going to
Yeah.
pursue?
Yeah, I'm hopefully going to do a residency at Jackson Labs this school year.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the biomed program at HCTC, and I don't really know what kind of like degree I want yet, because kind of a weird gray area.
Yeah, and it's wide open. Like there's so many specifics of what you can get
Oh,
into in that field.
yeah, you can spend your whole life researching one gene. It's insane. And that one gene controls, whether you get diabetes or lupus or arthritis.
I don't want arthritis, so figure that out.
I will.
So that's it. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you so much for doing this, McHenna. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm hoping we can get together in person at the Reach sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can have a traditional show this year, or if we're going to have to find other ways to do it. But
I really hope we get to
yeah,
do a show.
yeah, something will happen. I just don't know what it's going to look like yet. All right. Well, thank you very much, and have a great night. Bye.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
When you donate to the Reach Performing Arts Center, you are contributing to K-12 arts education, experiences, residencies, and performances. You're helping to support this wonderful facility, and you're helping bring arts to our community. If you'd like to donate, you can visit our website and hit the donate button on the top of the page, or you can send a check to the Reach Performing Arts Center at 249 North Deer Isle Road, Deer Isle, Maine, 04627. Thanks, and I hope to see you at the Reach.